Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual public meeting for the State Road A1A Collins Avenue, Indian Creek Drive from 5800 block to State Road 907, 63rd Street. This is a roadway improvement project. I'm going to give just a couple of minutes here to let the public make their way through. And just a few will start off the presentation and get things going. In the meantime, you can submit your questions via the question box located on your the control panel on your right hand side. You can type in your question right there, or later on during the question and answer portion, we will be opening up the phone lines. All you have to do is simply just click on the virtual raise your hand button located as well on the control panel, and then we'll open up the lines. Also, tonight's presentation will be available. You could download it on our project page. In just a few, I'm going to put up the QR code. So if you can, you guys can grab your cell phones and open up the camera option, and you can simply scan the QR code. Let me put up that code right now as we speak. Like that, give you an opportunity for you guys to scan it. So scan right there, scan where the cursor is, scan the QR code, pull out your phone, and it'll take you right to the project page where you'll be able to download tonight's presentation available right now as we speak. Once again, I'm giving just a few, maybe about a minute or two to give an opportunity to the public to join us. Again, you can scan or grab your phone and scan the QR code, and they'll take you to the project page to download tonight's presentation. And so you can submit your questions in the question box, and during the Q&A portion, we will be opening up the lines. You can just click on the virtual raise your hand button. All right, we'll get things going here. Once again, thank you for joining us to tonight's public meeting, a virtual public meeting. Just to let you know, we'd like to recognize any elected officials that is joining us. If there are any elected officials that are joining us, please click on the raise your hand button. Take a look here if we have any elected officials that are joining us. Not yet. See here. Okay, not yet. Okay, once again, if you are an elected official, please click on the virtual raise your hand button. Because of right now, we don't have any. All right, so if you experience any technical difficulties, please contact Miranda Brito at the number that you see on your screen. That's 786-537-3363, or by email at miranda@iscprgroup.com so that she can assist you. We will go over tonight's agenda. That includes, we'll open up with the rules of engagement. We'll introduce you to the project team. We'll read you the non-discrimination policy. We'll tell you where the project is located, schedule and cost, scope of work, what to expect, the maintenance of traffic, and we'll finish off with the questions and answers portion. Attendees will remain muted throughout the meeting except for the open discussion session. Use the raise hand button on your GoToWebinar panel to provide a comment. Provide your full name first, address, and comment. Attendees are welcome to submit questions, comments using the GoToWebinar question panel, and a member of the team will respond during the open discussion. Participants will have 3 minutes to ask questions and provide comments. It's a friendly reminder that this meeting is being recorded, and I'd like to let you know that the video will be available on our project page soon after. You'll also get an email as well that you'll be able to just register and watch the entire video as well. The meeting will begin with a presentation followed by comments and questions portion. Again, if you're calling via phone, you will not be able to provide any comments during the meeting. Therefore, you can contact Miranda at the number on your screen, 786-537-3363, or by email, miranda@iscprgroup.com. The presentation is available on the link that you see there on your screen, and our project team will remain until 7:30 p.m. and I'll blow up the QR code a little later so you guys can scan your cell phones, and it'll take you right to the project page, and you could take a look at tonight's presentation. I'd like to introduce to you our project team that's here with us tonight. Our project manager for FDOT, Ms. Elsa Riverol, is joining us. Our consultant engineer of record, Mr. Carlos Verson, and our consultant project manager, Mr. Fabio Laverde. And I am the community outreach specialist for Dolphin. The Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation at this meeting is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting District 6 Title VI Coordinator, Mr. Nicholas Danu, at 305-470-5219, or in writing at FDOT 1000 Northwest 111th Avenue, Miami, Florida 33172, or by email at nicholas.danu@dot.state.fl.us. Or you can reach our state Title VI Coordinator, Ms. Jacqueline Paramore, at 850-414-4753, or in writing at the Equal Opportunity Office, 605 Suwannee Street, MS65, Tallahassee, Florida 32399, or by email jacqueline.paramore@dot.state.fl.us. With that being said, I'd like to now give the floor to Mr. Fabio Laverde. He is the consultant project engineer for this project. And once again, the project is located on State Road A1A, Collins Avenue, and Indian Creek Drive, from the 5800 block to State Road 907 63rd Street. Fabio?
Thank you, Roman. Roman, do you mind showing the presentation? It's not being shown right now. Perfect. Well, as Roman indicated, the project is along State Road A1A within the one-way pair of Collins Avenue in the northbound direction and Indian Creek Drive in the southbound direction, from just north of the 5800 block to State Road 907 63rd Street. The purpose of this project is to repave and restripe the existing pavement in an effort to improve the ride quality and smoothness of the corridor. The project lies within the city of Miami Beach. Currently, the project is in design. It's actually in the 60% design phase. We plan to be submitting 90% plans next month. We have a production date of September 2021 with a letting date of March 2022. Construction is estimated to start sometime in the summer of 2022. We're anticipating July right now, and it should last approximately 5 months with an estimated end date of sometime at the end of 2022. The estimated construction cost of the project is approximately $760,000. Next slide, please. Now, to give you a quick overview of the scope, we're planning on milling and resurfacing, repaving and restriping the roadway. We plan to adjust manholes and valves to match the new pavement elevation, as well as to improve the ride quality. Upgrade signing and pavement markings along the segment. And we're also going to be removing the existing pavers at the intersection of 63rd Street and Collins Avenue and replacing with standard flexible asphalt pavement and high emphasis crosswalk markings. We will also be upgrading the pedestrian ramps at that intersection, as well as the countdown signals and push buttons. Next slide. This is a quick general concept of what we're doing. As you can see, we start north of the 5800 block, just prior to the curve along Collins Avenue. We're going to be milling and resurfacing both Collins and Indian Creek Drive, as well as replacing the existing pavement markings. Next slide. And we will be terminating at the intersection of 63rd Street. As you can see, we're only doing the intersection along Collins Avenue, since the intersection at Indian Creek Drive was recently paved by another FDOT project, which was completed last year. So we will only be including the intersection of Collins Avenue under this project. Next slide. Now, what to expect during construction? The maintenance of traffic, we're going to have to be reducing the existing travel lanes or narrowing them in order to be able to provide room for construction workers. We will have temporary lane closures. However, they should be limited to the milling and resurfacing operations, which plan to take work mostly at night. We will have vehicular detours while we're reconstructing the 63rd Street intersection and Collins Avenue. And there will be some parking restrictions during the milling and resurfacing operations. However, it is a moving operation, so it's something that would be very limited in time. Now, as far as project phasing and hours of operation, lane closures will be limited to weekdays and weekends from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., as well as Sunday through Thursday nights from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. No construction activities will be performed during nighttime hours, except for the milling and resurfacing and restriping operations. The existing posted speed along the corridor is 30 miles per hour. However, there are existing warning signs along the curve along Collins Avenue, which will be maintained at 20 miles per hour. We do anticipate some minor sidewalk closures, specifically for the sidewalk work at Collins Avenue and 63rd Street. But we will make sure that we maintain one side of the sidewalk operational at all times during construction. Now, we will anticipate some minor dust and noise, as is typical with every construction project. However, our plans will ensure that the contractor is required to sweep and water in order to minimize any construction-related dust during construction. And obviously, noise will be expected. However, as I mentioned, milling and resurfacing will be taking place at night, and the concrete work will only be allowed during the daytime to alleviate any noise during nighttime. And access will always be maintained per FDOT standard specifications. Access to residents and businesses will always be maintained during construction. Next slide.
Thank you, Fabio, for the presentation. And we had some technical difficulties in the beginning. I'd like to just pull up the QR code so you can pull up your cell phones and scan so you could obtain or download tonight's presentation. This is the QR code there. You can scan that with your phone and it'll take you right to the project page. I'd also like to read you some of the information on how to participate during our Q&A session. In the control panel, as you can see, you have the virtual raise your hand button. If you click on that, we'll open up the phone lines in just a few seconds and you can provide your comment or your question. With that being said, let's just read out some of the information here for the question and answer portion section. Please submit your comments in the question box. After addressing comments in the question box, we will open the microphones. If we are unable to answer your question, the project team will provide a written response after the meeting. If you would like to speak, please press the raise your hand button. Participants will have 3 minutes to provide comments and questions to allow others to speak. Staff will be available to answer questions in the order they are received and as time permits. If your question is not responded to during the event, a response will be provided in writing following the meeting. Now, this is my contact information. In case you have any follow-up questions, you can call me at the number that you see on your screen. That's 786-519-7160, or you can reach me via email, roman@iscprgroup.com. To find out information about other projects in FDOT, just go ahead and visit fdotmiamidade.com. Once again, the presentation is available on the link that you see on your screen, but you can grab your phone and scan the QR code and it'll take you right to the project page. With that being said, let's go ahead and take some questions from the public. Let's see here, the first question. Okay, Mr. Barry Moskowitz, he wants to know, why do the decorative pavers need to be removed?
Okay, the reason that we're removing the pavers is on a state roadway, pavers are not allowed due to the rideability issues. And in addition to that, the pavers haven't been maintained. As you can see, when you go out there, there's been a lot of utility work that's been done, and the pavered area has been patched with asphalt. But now that we're going to be milling and resurfacing the project, DOT does not allow pavers on a state roadway, so we're going to be going ahead and removing those. In addition to that, we want to add high emphasis crosswalks for pedestrians, which we typically do on signalized intersections on state roads.
on to the next question, also by Mr. Barry. Will green bike lanes be installed?
No, bike lanes currently do not exist along this corridor. Unfortunately, the existing pavement width does not allow the introduction of bicycle lanes along this segment. So no, we will not be including bike lanes on this project.
Okay, so also Mr. Barry wants to know, why were the pavers installed initially?
I believe that was installed quite some time ago under a permit. I think it was installed. I'm not sure if it was installed by the condominium that's there. So it might have been done as a permit a few years back.
Let's take a see if anyone would like to speak from the public. If you would like to ask any questions, whether it be the question box or the phone, you can just go ahead and click on the raise your hand button. Okay, I'm going to take now Miss Deborah Lake. Miss Deborah Lake, I'm opening up your microphone there, Miss Deborah.
Hi, thank you so much for having
Thank you.
me. My name is Deborah Lake and I'm at 4775 Green Diamond. My question is that with the influx of traffic, why is it that we're only working from 9 to 3:30? Why is it that you guys can't work at night to reduce the amount of traffic? We're already incurring plenty of traffic on Indian Creek, south of 41st Street, and it's been so difficult just getting on 41st Street. And then when we have to head north, we're going to encounter more traffic. Is there any way to give us some relief and do the work at night?
The majority of the work will be done at night. As you probably saw from the presentation, the majority of the work is milling and resurfacing the existing pavement. We have very limited sidewalk work on this project, as we're only doing sidewalk work at the intersections of Collins and 63rd Street. So to answer your question, that is the goal, that is the plan. We do plan to limit lane closures to nighttime for the majority of the project. However, there are cases where, concrete work is done and it's better done during the day because of noise. But again, that work is going to be very limited on this project.
Thank you, Ms. Deborah. Do you have another question? Just added 1 second, everyone. Did you have a follow-up question, Ms. Deborah, since you had the hand raised?
No follow-up questions.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Once again, everyone, thank you for joining us here this evening. If you would like to join us, ask questions, you can just click on the raise your hand button there. Let's welcome now Ms. Alicia Casanova. Ms. Alicia? Alicia, I'm opening up your microphone. All you have to do is just unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, you can hear me? I'm driving,
Yes,
so I'm doing my best here. Okay, so I am the chair of the Collins Avenue Working Group for the Mid-Beach Neighborhood Association, and I was going to ask a couple of questions that have already been answered. I don't know if you're familiar with the fact that the FDOT is working on the 41st to 63rd Street, long-term complete renovation project of the entire stretch of Collins Avenue A1A. And so my question is basically how this money is being spent now from 58th, which is part of the eventual plan that's being studied right now, which includes 58th to 63rd. So I'm confused as to how we're going to integrate the new design, which will include the green bike lane. It's actually a bicycle lane painted green. I know the FDOT doesn't want green paint yet, but we are working very hard advocating for the segregated green marked bike lane. So is that going to be taken into consideration when we do the entire stretch, and more money will be spent when that gets done? It's a little bit confusing for us. And I don't know if you have the answer, by the way.
I mean, the reason we're doing this project is because the pavement is in fairly bad shape. So DOT every so often receives pavement condition surveys on existing state highways, and anytime corridors are deficient and they're up for milling and resurfacing, the department undertakes those projects. So the intent of this project is strictly to rehabilitate the existing pavements. We understand that there is a planning study underway, but I don't think that's programmed for quite some time. So this project is going to be done, and then in the future, yes, there is a planning study underway, which will be incorporating additional improvements along Collins Avenue.
Okay, so this is basically just a restoration, just a maintenance project more than there's no redesign of
Correct.
anything.
Correct. This
Okay.
is just
So
rehabilitation of the existing pavement.
Okay, so they're taking out the pavers because somehow they were put in without authorization at some point? That's an unusual answer as well.
They're taking out the pavers because that's part of the rideability issues that the corridor is experiencing. As you can imagine, pavers, if they're not maintained properly, they do cause ride issues to motorists. So about, I would say 7 or 8 years ago, DOT started forbidding pavers, brick pavers or concrete pavers from being installed on a state highway. They only allow stamped asphalt crosswalks now, which I'm sure you've seen throughout the city. So yeah, this is something that DOT has been trying to accomplish, which is removing pavers from state highways.
Okay, it seems they're aesthetically pleasing, like the ones on 41st Street and Norton Road. That looks like pavers. I don't think those are pavers. The crosswalks there that I'm referring to on 41st and Alton.
That may be
Are those
stamped
pavers?
That may be stamped asphalt crosswalks.
That's correct.
I'm not entirely sure yet.
And shouldn't there be like a sequence that there's similarities through the different main roads throughout the Mid Beach area or the North Beach as well that has some uniformity, like we're doing crosswalks in a certain way to start implementing that throughout the different crosswalks? I mean, that kind of makes sense rather than just asphalt and some yellow markings, right? That hasn't been discussed.
Well, I mean, that's typically initiated by the city of Miami Beach, because what DOT does on these rehabilitation projects, if the city would like to see some aesthetic improvements, they're typically funded by the city. And whenever DOT installs stamped asphalt crosswalks, they need to also enter into a maintenance agreement with the city, and the city would be responsible for maintaining that, because it's not a standard practice along FDOT roadways. However, if the city does initiate it, then it's something that could be explored.
So that may be something that we need to keep in mind when we're doing the entire stretch. So I guess let's get this one done, and then we'll advocate for something more aesthetic on every crosswalk that's clearly marked and that matches with the rest of the city. So I guess we'll do that later. But okay, thank you for your presentation. We certainly appreciate your outreach.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, and Alicia, we'll send you the presentation as well, so you guys can put it on your webpage. I know you. Thank you very much for passing your work.
Send it. mbna@midbeach.net.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your help in spreading the word.
Sure, we
Thank
certainly
you for your help.
We'll keep everybody informed. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Once again, thanks for joining us. If you would like to speak, please click on the raise your hand button. It's a virtual raise your hand button, and we'll be able to open up. I see Miss. Oh, she had her hand up. Not anymore. No, okay, let's see. Once again, if you have any questions, you can submit your question via the question box, or you can click on the raise your hand button. Let me see if we can. Mr. Burke. Mr. Burke? Mr.
Yes.
William Burke? Hi, how are you?
Good, you?
Good, good, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Do you have a question for our group this evening?
Yeah, I'm from the LaGorge Palace Condo Association. I wondered how does one get a chance to see the presentation?
It's available right now on our project page. but I can also go ahead and send it to you personally. I'll send it to you via PDF, but if you go to the website that's on the screen right there, or you can scan the QR code, you can obtain the presentation as well.
Okay, thank you, and appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thank you very much. Okay, once again, if you'd like to speak, please click on the raise your hand, the virtual raise your hand button, and ask a question to squad available this evening. Or you can submit your question in the question box. And just a friendly reminder that we will be here until 7:30 p.m. So for whatever reason, if you happen to just have a question later on, we will be remaining here until 7:30 p.m. Or you can always contact me or send me an email at roman@ICPR Group, and I will relay this message to our team available here this evening. Once again, let's give an opportunity to the public. I don't know if she still has a, Miss Alicia, did you have a follow-up question? You still have your hand raised. Guess not. Let's go to the other. Mr. Burke, did you have a follow-up question? Okay. Well, everyone, we don't have any more questions from the public, whether it be in the question box or raising their hand. Once again, the presentation is on the project page that you see on your screen. If you happen to come across any question or comment that you'd like to share with us, please do so. We will be here until 7:30 p.m. It's about an hour. We still got about an hour. All right, everyone. So we'll stay until 7:30 p.m. If you have any questions, feel free to write it down in a question box or raise your hand and we'll head. Oh, wait, we got one more. Hang on. Okay. Bobby, I'm going to pull up the diagram because Ms. Teresa Ancona says a diagram of layout, you show pink blocks at the intersection of 63rd and Collins. What is it? So I'm assuming this is the pavers. It's right here, right? Correct?
Yeah, that's just depicting the areas where we're replacing the existing curb ramps. So the existing sidewalk in that area. So that just basically shows sidewalk replacement.
And it's not going to be pink sidewalks.
So they'll actually be the same, Miami Beach red. It'll be the same color.
Correct.
Okay. She says, thank you very much for the response. Okay. Once again, if you have any questions, click on the raise your hand button, the virtual raise your hand button, or you can submit your question. I'm gonna go back again to Miss Lake. Maybe she has a follow-up. Miss Lake, do you have a follow-up question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go right
Oh,
ahead.
hi, this is Charlotte Helmick. I'm on the MBNA board as well. And my
Okay.
question was regarding the lights that will be, going on and while the construction is happening. I mean, how is this going to work in terms of people crossing the streets? You know, I'm having issues with the way Collins Avenue is presently a disaster in terms of people trying to cross the streets and cars not slowing down. The same thing on 41st Street with cars not paying attention to pedestrians when they're at the crosswalks. So I'm a little concerned about what you're going to be putting there, especially because of the higher speed that people go at on 63rd, where this a lot of this work is going to be happening.
Yeah, there, as you can see, by replacing the pavers with asphalt, we're going to be proposing high emphasis crosswalks. So that should help with the visibility to pedestrians. In addition, we're going to be providing new pedestrian signals along with the crosswalks. They already exist, however. So, I mean, when pedestrians press the push button and the light turns red, they should have a walk indication, and cars should stop for pedestrians. So I'm not sure exactly what issues you have specifically at this intersection.
Okay.
We do have pedestrian signalization along both legs of the crossing.
Okay, well, I was basically talking about 41st and what's going on Collins, and
Okay.
the fact that there are very few pedestrian crosswalk signals that people can use, especially because of the COVID situation. You know, some of them are even taped up, so people are kind of playing chicken with the cars, you know, trying to cross over the street on places like between 38th and 39th Streets. And then you have the issue on 37th Street that I'm sure you're aware of with that left turn signal. And it just creates, and 41st Street, you know, going across Indian Creek on 41st. They just put little signs up after I complained to the city about it, trying to get, you know, cars to pay attention to the crosswalk just crossing 41st Street, because many cars were not stopping at all, and people were stuck on that little island waiting forever for the traffic to stop. And, you know, you have to be very, you know, mindful of the fact that we have terrible drivers in Florida. You know, they're awful. They never pay attention to anything. And I'm just worried about tourists and older people trying to get across those streets without any signals to the cars to slow down.
Got it. I do know the department is undertaking some pedestrian improvements where they're adding some, I believe, mid-block crosswalks along Collins Avenue. So I don't know exactly the intersections, but I believe one of them is like near 37th. So that may be something that the department is looking into now. But for this project, unfortunately, our scope of work is limited to these two blocks, and the only pedestrian signal improvements we're doing are at the intersection of 63rd and Collins.
Okay. Well,
And what I
thank you.
can do, I can check with our traffic operations department to see what
Yes.
they are working on 38, 39, and 41st and Collins, and I'll make sure that they reach out to you.
That'd be great. I really,
It's a push button project, Roman.
yeah,
Huh?
I
Push
would
button
really, I'd
Yes.
appreciate that very much, Roman, seriously.
We'll look into that, okay? And you
Thank
said you're under Deborah Lake, but you said no, right? That's not.
No, I'm not Deborah, I'm Charlotte Tomic. Yeah, I should be under the list that she has of board members.
Got it. Understood. We'll work on that for you, okay? We'll investigate that with our department. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, once again, if you'd like to speak, please press the virtual raise your hand button. Or we're taking in some other questions. Hang on, we do have a raising their hand. I guess it's not. Well, everyone, for the most, we don't have any more questions, neither via phone or the question box. So with that said, we will remain until 7:30 p.m., a little less than an hour. If you have any questions, we'll be keeping an eye out, and we'll be here to answer your questions. And the video, the meeting video will be available on our project page in just a few after once the meeting is concluded. In fact, you're going to get an email that you'll be able to register and watch the complete meeting itself. Okay, and again, a friendly reminder that the presentation is available on the link that you see on your screen. With that said, everyone, again, we'll be here until 7:30 p.m. I'll be checking in every now and then sporadically. And if you have any questions, if you'd like to speak, just let us know and we will answer that question or comment for you. All right, thank you very much, everyone. All right, everyone, we do have one question here from Miss Teresa Ancona. I'd like to read the question, everyone, and they can come back on the screen. Give an opportunity for our engineers, all right? Okay. She wants to know, is there any additional change to curbs or islands as they currently are placed in the intersection from 63rd going north or going over the bridge at Alton Road?
No, under this project, there will not be any modifications to the existing medians along 63rd Street.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Fabio. Thank you, Mr. Ressa. Okay, again, everyone, we will be on to 7:30 p.m. If you have any questions, feel free to submit it. We'll be able to answer for you. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we have a question from Miss Etta Valero. You get her? And she's not joining us on the software here per se, but I do have her on the phone, and she did send me the email, so I'm hoping that she can hear the response. If not, Miss Etta, again, you can see the entire video afterwards. It'll be sent to a link, or I'll send you the link itself. But this is her question. She says, does this mean that the only alterations will take place on 63rd and Collins? That's the first question. Then the second question is, the rest of the street will only be repaved. What became of the old proposals? Are those totally canned, I hope? Now, what I just wanted to make sure, Ms. Etta, what plans were you talking about? You talking about the planning study?
There was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
I think you're referring to the planning study, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Fabio? It was a.
That's what I would think. That's the only study that I'm aware of along this corridor right now. I do know there was a project west of here, which was being managed back then by Ana Arvelo, but I believe it was from 41st to 58th.
We had a presentation about our own street 3 years ago, or 3 years maybe.
2 or 3, okay. So that.
And one of the things that we were proposing was to reduce the number of stoplights. And we all went, oh no, we don't have enough of that. Because people think that it's the highway, and people get through here. Like,
Okay. Did you guys hear that or no?
No, we could.
Okay.
You couldn't
so
understand that.
Right. So she said that she was presented, or she heard of this presentation about 2 or 3 years ago, where they were proposing to eliminate traffic lights. And since this the Collins Avenue, there's a lot of vehicles that speed through it, that they were concerned about the removal of these traffic lights. Is that right, Ms. Etta?
yeah.
Yeah. A couple. Reducing the traffic signals by half, but I'm not aware.
I believe that was the project to the west, if I'm not mistaken, because I do know they were eliminating some medians, which in turn would eliminate the traffic signals. So yeah, I think that project was the project that I'm referring to the west. Not here. At least I'm not aware of anything in this segment.
Excuse me, that project was taken back to planning because there were a lot of issues with it. As I understand it, there's going to be a PD&E study done in the future rather than to do what they were proposing originally for that project.
She said good. That's what she wanted to hear. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask because, she couldn't access it, so I helped her out. Great. So
yes,
thank you very much.
It's not canned, but it's being rethought. Let's put it that way.
There you go, Ms. Anna. You okay? Okay. That is correct. Yeah. There's repavement, and then 63rd, that intersection will be we'll fix up a little bit. They'll be adding some high emphasis crosswalks, but this is more of the pavement that will be brought up to speed.
That corner is complicated.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, and have a great evening. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, guys. She was very happy that we got the response.
Perfect.
All righty. So
that was like 5 or 6. How many years? That was been a long time.
That's not all Godfrey. No, that's not Godfrey. No.
No, it was too complicated to do it the way they wanted to do it. So they took it back to PD&E to look into alternatives, into different alternatives.
Yeah,
But
I believe that was
haven't heard anything else.
That was the CH Perez project, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys. And by the way, that we answered that question about the one about the medians. Miss Teresa Ancona said, thank you. As I saw an additional pink marker towards the bridge. But that's relating to our diagram that we have here. So she understood. All right, so for now we don't have any questions, so just stay put. We still have what time?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. 13. So we'll be, if anyone else shows up, I'll let you guys know.
And remember that question that you got in the mail about the bicycle lanes project, the lab project? That I did some research and I found out that there's a lab project.
Yeah.
Nobody, that person didn't come in, right?
No.
Okay.
So, well, just hang tight. Just hang tight. I'll call you guys if we have another question. Alrighty?
Okay.
Good.
You got it.
Thanks.
If you're still on hold here at the meeting, we will be finishing up in 5 minutes. If you have any last minute questions, feel free to write it on the question box or click on the raise your hand button, the virtual raise your hand button, and we will respond an answer or comment on your comment. Once again, we will be off at 7:30 p.m. You have 5 minutes to answer any last minute questions. Thank you. All right, everyone, thank you very much for joining us once again for our public meeting. We appreciate all your questions and comments. With that said, it now concludes this virtual public meeting for the project located on Collins Avenue, State Road A1A. Thank you very much, and everyone have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.